You see how the whole thing now, is coming now to formation. Why do you think there was the insistence, despite the public outcry against it? Why do you think there was the insistence on the part of the Prime Minister to bring in Narda Garcia as the CEO in the office of the Prime Minister? Why do you think there was that insistence?
Narda never used to work for him, Smart.
Narda Garcia comes from Smart, my friend. That is correct. Narda Garcia was the big boss at Smart. Narda Garcia understands Smart. That's specifically why that happened, my friend. Despite the outcry against it, so the Belizean people, in fact, the Prime Minister said that I never threw on it, turned right around. And he knew that Narda Garcia had to get there because it was in the best interest of his family for Narda Garcia to have been there. Now there is an invoice. Now there's an invoice of payment to Smart dated the 1st of July 2021 in the amount of $3.373 million, $3.373 million. And it is a payment due to Smart for Microsoft 365 license for the period of 1 year. My friend, imagine just to act as the middleman for the licensing, the Microsoft 365 licensing, $3.373 million. And when we tell you that because we have it in a black and white, previously what used to happen is that BTL used to provide that service to CITO. CITO is the information technology arm of government. And so all the government softwares are licensed through CITO. BTL, there was a company, BTL, and an international company by the name of Innova, Innovative, I think that I shot for Innova Solutions, who used to bid for this. But every time there was a little difference. BTL amount was a little bit higher than Innova. But the government still gave the license, the contract to BTL because they understand the concept, or they understood the concept of keeping your dollars at home. Why would you pay $3.3 million to a foreign company when you can pay to your own utility company or keep your dollars at home, and then you don't have that stress to have to stress the foreign exchange requirement of the country? So the government, rightful, every time BTL used to be a little bit higher than Innova Solutions, but government always gave the contract to BTL because it is called passing Christian Epitome first. Now this year because of the insider trading they know the numbers, they make BTL as usual bid, and this time they invite Smart to bid now. And because of the insider information, the bid that came from Smart, because this is the justification that they will use now, The bid that came in from Smart was about $200,000 less. You see? And so, without the knowledge, in fact, without the consent of the financial secretary, when he get to find out that because the contract was already given to Smart. Now, I need to tell you who the Prime Minister's office approved that, That's for the Belizean people to read between the lines. Insider information. But further to that, you might have said that they saved that $200,000 because Smart was $200,000 less than the government. But the government ended up paying BTL $500,000 for terminating their contract. Does that make any sense to you, my friend? Does it make any sense to you? It means then that because they gave Smart the permission or the contract to do the licensing with Microsoft 365, then it cost the Belizean people $300,000 more, my friend. This is insider trading. This is corruption at the highest level. Mr. Prime Minister, sir, how can you chair a cabinet and be able to tell your ministers, for God's sake, stop it, sir, when you are perpetuating it? Don't know, like the previous Prime Minister, who when there was hanky-panky going on, allegations of hanky-panky, assembled his ministers in cabinet and he tell them, if it happen, man, for God's sake, stop it. Mr. Prime Minister, sir, no, you don't have the moral fortitude to even utter those words to your minister. This is going to your ministers. This is going to spread high-level corruption across all government systems, sir. This is wrong. This is a level of corruption at the highest order. This is a level of corruption that this country has never seen. And any social scientist will tell you that when there is rampant corruption in government, poverty prevails, the people punish. Mr. Prime Minister, wake up, sir. The public officers who you are punishing with this 10% salary cut have their eyes wide open. And if you think that sharing this information with the public is only now occurring, sorry, and get worse because they are going to be seeing it now. You remember 29 years ago, those $3.34 million now ring a bell to you all? Alfonso and Joe? 29 years ago, what happened, Joe?
I hear you.
29 years ago, in 1992, $3.34 million was attached to Harry Courtney. The embezzlement of $3.34 million on the social security funds of this country. It is like deja vu again. 29 years later, $3.373 million from the taxpayers of this country is going right to the Prime Minister's family-owned telecommunication business. Mr. Prime Minister, sir, you do not have the moral fortitude to chair any cabinet of ministers, sir. How will you tell them not to be engaged in corruption when you are perpetuating corruption at the highest order? Mr. Prime Minister, sir, wake up, reverse these things. It is wrong. It is wrong for government finances. It is wrong, especially for those public officers who you punish, sir. Why are you engaged in this insider trading? Even in the U.S., whenever a president comes to office like Donald Trump, he had to divest himself from all his businesses because it would be wrong. It would be wrong for him to engage in the kind of activity that this Prime Minister is blatantly engaging in. Never before has this country seen this kind of thing, you know. The Belizean people will soon have to rise up against this man. The whole longer we won't allow this to happen. It is wrong. Mr. Prime Minister, what are you doing, sir? We have never, ever, never in the life of this country seen so blatant corruption.